Hi everyone, X here, and today I'd like to talk about, or rather glaze, the heck out of Blue Archive JP's 5th anniversary, as I personally believe that it was one of the best Blue Archive anniversaries to date. So in this video, I'd like to discuss everything that I feel made it special, from the announcements, the characters, events, stories, etc. Though do be warned that there might be some Volume EX story spoilers, so if you wanna avoid those, I don't blame you for tuning out. I know I'm quite late with this video cause it's been more than a month since the 5th anniversary, but it took a while to make and I've been busy with stuff. But hey, better late than never, am I right? Anyways, without further ado, let's reflect back on Blue Archive JP's 5th anniversary. To kick things off, we have to first go all the way back to the official 5th anniversary streams that took place from January 17 to January 18, though we'll be focusing on the latter one as all the game announcements and such took place during this particular stream. While there weren't as many quote-unquote announcements like QL updates and such compared to a lot of other previous anniversary live streams, it was still an extremely hyped one thanks to the characters that were announced, mainly Kay and Mecha Aris, since they were both highly anticipated students as well as their amazing animations, plus the release of Volume EX's final chapter, which also happens to be Blue Archive's second biggest story volume after Volume F. So naturally, a lot of senseis were super ecstatic and excited during and after the live stream. For instance, when Mecha Aris was revealed, even the MC quote-unquote fainted out of happiness. And when Kay was shown, well, I'll show the RL crowd reaction later in the video during Kay's character section. But it was fantastic and infectious. And that's not even counting the reactions from all the senseis watching from home. In a way, it kind of reminded me of previous FES live streams, such as the 2nd, 3rd, 3.5 and 4th anniversary live streams, where the community were losing their minds over the reviews of like Mika, Dressina, Shiroko Terra, plus Rio and Seiya. You could hear/see the collective excitement of the RL crowd and senseis online over the reveal of these students. Okay, there was no crowd noise during the 2nd anniv live stream cause COVID restrictions were still in place during that time. Anyways, aside from the characters, another reason the live stream was so hyped was due to Volume EX bringing back Allied Operation, or in other words, World Raid, though this time it's called Steel Continent Assault. The last time this mode was available was 3 years ago or so, during the 2nd anniversary as part of Volume F. But the return of this mode was something many senseis were looking forward to, since it actually tied into the story and was one of the rare massive events that involved the entire BA community, as we all had to work together to take down the bosses. Not to mention, there are quite a number of senseis who didn't get to experience Volume F's or the Wakabo World Raid way back when, so the return of Allied Operation was welcomed with huge open arms and loud cheers from the crowd, / those watching online. Aside from those, again, while there weren't as much other QL announcements, there was one big announcement that got almost every sensei who plays BAJP excited, and that is the news of the official PC client. I mean, listen to the cheers from the crowd.
こちらです。ブルーアーカイブの
Hell, I was shouting too from behind the screen, cause I was so relieved that I didn't have to use an emulator anymore and I could finally delete LD Player. Not to mention, it was actually one of the first announcements during the stream too. Like, what a way to start the stream. I knew it was gonna be peak. Anyways, the 5th anniversary livestream was overall a very good one. It's probably in my personal list of top 3 BA anniversary livestreams, with the announced characters as well as their detailed animations, plus the PC client news all factoring into my decision. And I feel that many other senseis would agree with this sentiment. I mean, at the time of writing, it has the 5th most views out of every JP livestream at 1.2 million, which goes to show it was very much well loved by the community. And it's only been 2 months or so since it happened, so I'm sure this number will go up a bit more, though it's never beating the 4th anniversary livestream. Regardless, like every other anniversary livestream, it definitely helped to build up a lot of excitement and enthusiasm among the community, and little did we know, this was just a precursor to one of the most amazing and unforgettable anniversaries ever. Now, it's time to move on to the announced students, as they played a huge part in the 5th anniversary being as amazing as it was. A number of students who appeared in the 6 PV were at long last made playable for the 5th anniversary, something which a lot of senseis actually predicted, including yours truly. Never too late to go watch my 5th anniversary students prediction video, helps me out a lot. Anyways, release, Toki was announced as the welfare unit, Rio and Himari as a limited 3 stars with the 300 pulls banners, and the most hype of all, /Mecha Aris NK as the official 5th FES Students. It didn't just stop there though. We all thought that there wouldn't be more playable characters after Case and Armed Aris's banners, but much to everyone's surprise, on February 8 to February 9, Yuzu and Armed Amy were suddenly revealed as the next permanent 3-star units, leaving many of us, especially the Yuzu and Amy bros, shocked and excited, since a lot of senseis felt that Yuzu's and Amy's alt designs were too good to just be left in NPC jail for a whole year. And it was certainly a welcome surprise that they too were playable, though it didn't help those of us who wanted the both of them but had splurged everything on the 5th FES banners. I mean, it is FES. All these new units were a huge highlight of the 5th anniversary, not just because they were all beloved students among the fanbase, nor was it just cause this was some of their first alts, but also because their designs and animations, from their L2Ds to their EX skill animations, were all absolutely top notch. And looking online, many senseis, myself included, felt that all the 5th anniversary students were amazing and peak. It definitely felt like the devs pulled out all the stops and had so much fun designing these new students. Not to say they didn't for previous units obviously, but this time felt special in a way. Maybe they knew they had to go all out since it is the 5th anniversary. Take a look at Toki for example. She may only be a welfare unit, but damn, her armed outfit low-key goes hard. Is it biased cause she's my favorite CNC member? Perhaps. But you gotta admit, she looks so drippy in her new reconnaissance alt. The crisp white jacket covering her cool and low-key sexy blue futuristic bodysuit, her blonde hair tied in my favorite low ponytail hairstyle, and the akimbo energy pistols is just the cherry on top of the cake. Cause look at how cool she is using them in battle. The way she just blasts through the training scarecrows, hitting the pose at the end, taking a page out of her senpai's book. Not to mention her other chibi animations are great too, like her various reloading animations, her flip over obstacles, her signature peace whenever she heals an ally or in her end battle pose, and the way she plays video games, absolutely destroying Rio and hitting the Naoya Zenin on her. Sasuga Sensei's perfecto medo. You also got her beautiful L2D, admiring her blinding smile with the sunrise in the back. Fellas, this is what I live for. We also got big sister Armed Rio, who not only somehow looks even hotter in her bodysuit, good god, I know we're on an important mission, but the combination of that long ponytail and those huge calcium cannons in that bodysuit make me want to ravage her to no end. Like damn, even her chibi model is so freaking hot. But her adorable girl failure / unathletic side is highlighted in this new alt. The way she struggles to reload, how she nearly trips over obstacles in battle, her extremely cute embarrassed peace with Toki in their joint and battle pose, as well as her pouting when she's losing to Toki in their cafe animation, not to mention that L2D which sent everyone into a spiral when it was first shown during this livestream. I don't even know if I can show it in this video without censoring it cause that's how spicy it is. We also gotta talk about Aunt Himari's fantastic design. While she's almost as flat as an airport runway, with her best friend Rio taking everything in the breasticles department, Himari specializes in the bottom aisle, cause damn, she kicked up. Her new bodysuit really accentuates how thick her bottom is, especially in her beautiful L2D. Now I really wanna put my face in her wheelchair. Speaking of, her new hoverbike or outdoor wheelchair as we call it is actually so sick. It scratches my itch for a futuristic flying hoverbike in the game, and I just wanna ride it with Himari into the night sky. Plus the way she's so smooth and confident even in her new alt is borderline rizzing me up, from dodging all those missiles in her EX animation before hitting the iconic Akira slide, the visor on her head replacing her usual headband, the white bodysuit highlighting her slim, slender, hot body, and her petite Himaris, to her smugness and confidence in a lot of her animations. Man, she really is Millennium's beautiful, delicate, sickly genius hacker, and I'm falling for her more and more. There's also the other OG SPTF member, Armed Amy, who looks so goddamn cool and sexy too. And out of the 3 versions, I personally like her arm designs the best. From a black crop top so that she feels cooler in the Arctic region, it's Amy, what do you expect? Exposing that delicious midriff that'll be pregnant with triplets, as well as those armpits that's gonna get the Bakushin Sakura Chiyono O experience. Plus a jacket tied around her waist, those leggings with a tech feel, those J's, the visor, plus the power generator she's wearing on her back, and don't get me started on her new giant cannon. It's probably one of my favorite gun designs in the game, and the way she reloads by hitting it is pretty cool too. Not only that, that, Amy has also gotten more romantic, expressive, and adorable in her armed alt, evident mainly through her voice lines.
先生のハートにロックオン
As well as her new beautiful L2D, that dazzling smile, those giant cannons sagging, being more comfortable sharing her feelings to us senseis, wanting to stay by our side and protect us. Perhaps due to her experiences on the Steel Continent. Man, I've definitely started to like Amy even more with her new alt. Armed Yuzu, the other 3-star unit who debuted alongside Armed Amy, looks super amazing too. She looks so hot in her red bodysuit, even though it's covering her entire body, while still being damn cute with her botchiness. But she's also got that cool factor going on as usual, especially when she locks in while inside Avant-Garde. Not to mention, her new L2D is perfection. I mainly love that we can admire our gamer wife in such a pretty bright aesthetic, as I assume we are in a game world, plus the cool sword next to her and the game UI above her head are a welcome touch too. Finally, we have to glaze the anniversary girls a little, starting with the armed Aris. Fellas, I freaking called it. I predicted that she's gonna look so cool in her mech suit, and by god, the devs did not disappoint. They've somehow made her look so freaking cool, cute, and sexy all at the same time. It is probably one of my favorite designs in the game, simply because I just love mechanical / futuristic designs like this. Like, look at this blue and white mech wings, the leg armor as well as a newly modified Sword of Light. They're so freaking sick. You can't tell me her design wasn't heavily inspired by Armored Core and Gundam. Plus, her new outfit has managed to make her even hotter, from those bare shoulders to her tiny irises in that sexy white leotard to those exposed thighs and legs, and in Twin Tails too. Son, I'm about to plant my seed into her Gundam. Whoa, Saka Max, clank 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 clank. Not only that, look at her animations too. Bro, they are so goddamn cool. I just love the way she flies out of the ship in her self-buff EX. You can even see her cute butt. Then her damage dealing EX where she dodges all those missiles and blasts all the enemies, hitting the Gundam pose at the end. Mwah! Man, I get so hyped every time I see it. And dude, the lasers she shoots out, with it becoming bigger and more intense as you buff her with her EX, unleashing an Omega Beam after you buff her twice. Plus, her other animations are amazing as well, such as her flying about in combat or outside the ship in the cafe. Heck, even her animation in her battle pass furniture, doing maintenance on her mech suit, and her poses like in the team selection screen, etc. She's really embracing her role as a hero in this new form, and I'm all for it. Not just that, even though she is much more serious in her armed alt, her cuteness still manages to shine through. I mean, just look at that precious smile. Look at her. Our daughter wife is still so goddamn adorable, and I'm glad that despite the seriousness of the situation, she never fails to be our cute, beloved, optimistic daughter wife. Finally, it is time for the other 5th anniversary student. It is none other than Kay. Brother, she was probably the student most senseis were hyped for. Like, just listen to the crowd's reaction to her reveal. Plus the amount of K fan art, etc. they just spawned everywhere after her announcement. She has always been popular in the community, but with her finally having a proper body, holy, her popularity surged. And even until now, there's still so much K art popping up everywhere, and for good reason of course, cause her designs, animations, personality have been perfection. Her wearing the Millennium uniform with her primary pink and white color scheme, her white hair which is a blessing for a white hair enthusiast like me, as well as those ties, those delicious ties that she inherited from Yuka Mama. Whoa! I can't resist Animal K-chan. Choo 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 choo. K-chan! Let me lick your scrumptious ties, K-chan! Her chibi animations are so good and fluid too. Like, it really shows how cute our clanker human daughter wife is, especially since it highlights her tsundere side. She's so sun. Whoa, look at that. Look at how smug she is too. Whoa, Kei-chan! You won't be looking so smug after I do a Windows update on you all night long. Whoa! And even though she's so tsun, she's still so dere and loves us so much. Like, she wants to kill us senseis in-game, then she kills herself. Plus, her interactions with Aris, like in their victory animations, are just so adorable too. Aww, she really would do anything for Aris even though she's embarrassed. And most importantly, despite Kei-chan being our mama-daughter wife, she is first and foremost our precious student and will do anything to protect her beautiful smile and cherished memories. Anyways, I personally really loved all the 5th anniversary students, from their designs to their animations and L2Ds, and I feel that the devs have done such an amazing job with the FES students this time around. Not to say that they didn't in previous ones obviously, cause the other anniversary units are fantastic too, don't get me wrong. In terms of their personality and character development etc. in regards to the new main story, I'll cover that a bit in the next section. And while I do want to talk about their kits, since some of theirs are pretty interesting, I personally care about those less compared to their designs, animations, personality etc. And when they arrive to global, you should still prioritize pulling for your waifus first. And I cannot wait to pull for them once they arrive to global. I just pray it doesn't go as bad as my JP pulls. And while I would love to just spend all day talking about our precious students, this video is long enough, so it's time to move on to the next part. Moving on, it's time to talk about one of the major parts of the 5th anniversary that made it an enjoyable experience, and that is the story, specifically Volume EX. I'ma keep this part a bit shorter and try to avoid as much spoilers as I can, cause I don't want to ruin it for anyone, especially for those of you who haven't read it or played JP. But for those of you still paranoid, I would suggest skipping this segment just for in case. I'll give y'all a few seconds to skip it. Now, I also feel I don't fully deserve to rate this story yet, as I couldn't understand everything in chapter 3 cause I'm not that Nihongo Jozu. For instance, some of these small conversations, nuances etc. that I may have missed out, which is why I'm gonna wait until it comes to global to give a full, proper overall rating. But from what I did understand and looking at the general consensus of the community, this story was pretty much well loved, with a lot of people drawing comparisons with Volume F, as they felt it was on par with that absolute masterpiece, and that's freaking saying something. Plus, it's fitting considering Volume EX is Blue Archive's quote-unquote second major final story arc. I don't know how else to describe it. In fact, there were even those who believed that it was better than Volume F, which again is a huge shout, cause Volume F was just on a different scale. It was my affirmation that Blue Archive story is my personal favorite within the gacha space. It could potentially be recency bias on their part, but hey, I'll reserve judgment for now and let me know what you guys thought of Volume EX overall. Try to keep it spoiler free as much as possible of course, / put spoiler warning, as there are senseis who haven't read it yet. Now, there are many reasons as to why Volume EX made the 5th anniversary so much more special. Chapter 3 in particular, since it released during this time. From its storytelling / plot properly uncovering the mysteries of Decagrameton and its prophets, something a lot of senseis have been wanting to know more of, seeing as we've fought most of them as raid bosses across the years, plus the entire story of going to the Glacial Sea and the Steel Continent with the SPTF and GDD to fight Decagrameton and his prophets, as well as meeting Ainsof Or who have their own agenda, plus interacting with them and Malkuth too, getting to know all of them, like their backstory, their motives, etc. to the students involved in Volume EX, with many senseis happy to see these students' personal growth and their amazing characterization / personalities. And the chemistry between our students too has also been a joy to watch. For instance, the interactions between Rio and Himari plus Rio with K / Aris, etc. Not only that, there were also many amazing and cinema moments during Volume EX that made it even more hype. They gave us senseis goosebumps just like how Volume F did. They made us shed tears over how emotional it was, especially during the climax and ending. The CGs, animations, etc. were all just so beautiful and top tier quality. Bro, it's killing me, cause there's so much I want to talk about, but I can't. I have to speak in riddles cause the story is still fresh, and I know there are a lot of senseis who are patiently waiting for Chapter 3 to come to global, yet alone some who haven't even started Volume EX yet, maybe because they're new senseis. But rest assured, you guys are in for a fantastic ride. Oh, by the way, the OSTs were bangers as always. The goats Mitsukiyo, Nor, Karut, and Imo Cosine delivered as always. The epilogue especially, I think it managed to wrap things up nicely as we close the chapter of the Millennium main story, and I think it also gives us a hint as to who the next anniversary character might be. be. Plus, we get to also see how some characters like Kay integrate into Millennium. Okay, that's not a spoiler anymore, cause we've literally seen how Kay looks like in her Millennium uniform. Overall though, as Blue Archive's second major final volume comes to a perfect close, it's safe to say that a lot of senseis, myself included, absolutely loved Volume EX and thought that it was an amazing story and a masterpiece. From its beautiful emotional scenes to the hyped cinematic moments. And I'm so glad that the writing has bounced back after the entire Project KV fiasco with Isaku-san leaving Nexon. Plus, it is further proof of why Blue Archive's story is my favorite of all time in the gacha industry. One last thing I'd like to touch on in this section is my hopes for future story content. Cause while I thought Volume EX was super enjoyable, I would like the devs to finally give us the long-awaited and highly requested Gehenna main story volume. Cause what do you mean after 5+ years we still haven't gotten a main story centered around Gehenna? And no, I'm not counting Eden Treaty cause I feel that's still mainly Trinity, which is why even though I'm kinda biased as I am a Gehenna enjoyer, I would like us to go back to Gehenna and finally learn this backstory of many Gehenna students for the next main story update, especially with Pandemonium Society presumably getting their odds this year. What with their recent 3D appearances during the weekly Blue Archive Sensei May I Have a Moment of Your Time short series on YouTube, but we'll have to wait and see. For this last section, let's quickly talk about the 5th anniversary events, starting with the Steel Continent Allied Operation, aka the World Raid event that I mentioned earlier. For those of you unfamiliar with Allied Operation, let me quickly explain. Basically, they are world bosses with a global HP bar that every sensei has to work together to defeat by consuming a certain number of tickets to do any of the 4 stages. For this particular Allied Operation, there are 4 difficulty stages, A, B, C, D, equivalent to Normal, Extreme, Insane, and Torment. Plus, completing any of the first 3 stages consumes 10 tickets, 20 for stage D, and 1 extra ticket is used for every additional team needed. For this and previous world raids, you'll obtain 1 ticket every 30 minutes, and each stage gives specific rewards as well. The harder the stage, the higher the boss's HP is in that stage, but completing it obviously contributes to deducting the boss's global HP bar even more. Once the boss's global HP reaches 0, every sensei then has to do a decisive battle, which doesn't require tickets and is very easy to finish them off, and you receive rewards upon completion. For the Steel Continent World Raid, it was mainly split into 3 parts, with part 1 lasting from January 20 to January 29, part 2 from January 29 to February 12, and part 3 was from February 12 to February 18, having different bosses for us to take down during each part. For part 1 in particular, we initially had to fight 8 of the Decagrammaton prophets, Bina, Hod, Kiefer, Cheese, Gebura, Chokma, Tifarev, and Yasod, with Daf being the last, though that was more of a story episode. Meanwhile, part 2 we had to fight Malkuth, and part 3, Decagrammaton was the boss. Unlike in the 4 Sanctum Tower Allied Operation in Volume F, where we could freely decide which boss to prioritize, technically we could too this time as well in part 1, but certain bosses have area skills which can affect other boss battles, making it much harder, so we had to take out these bosses first before doing others. Not only that, exclusively for this Allied Operation, after each boss's decisive battle, they will drop a Prophet Core, which basically unlocks support skills like Hod's Pillars or Cheese Robot to use against other bosses once you insert them into the chamber in the hangar. Plus, you can use Analysis USBs to strengthen these skills, which can be obtained through the story. With those explanations out of the way, it is opinion time, and I personally say that I thoroughly enjoyed this event, cause it's been a long time since we've gotten an Allied Operation, with my last time being the literal previous one during Volume F, so it was fun to experience it once again after like 3 to 4 years or so, this time taking on the Decagrammaton bosses, and I sincerely hope that other senseis share this sentiment too. Thankfully, from what I've seen, a lot of people in the community enjoyed it too. Not to mention, I always really like seeing the efficiency of JP players when it comes to community events like this, cause damn, they're crazy. Aside from those, I found the part 2 boss battle against Malkuth quite enjoyable as well. I really liked the mechanics of adapting to a certain attack type after taking enough damage from that type, kinda like Mahoraga I guess, so you had to use a full striker DPS team against her. Hopefully they bring her back in some way like as a total assault boss, cause I would love to see how we deal with her on like Lunatic. Not only that, they definitely put a lot of love into this event, like the animations and UI, etc. I really like that it wasn't just focused on the conflict at hand, but we also got to visit the ship's hangar and lobby, where we could play previous minigames while watching the Millennium Girls doing their thing. And the chibi animations in the lobby change every time a boss is defeated in part 1. In my opinion, that's a very nice detail, and I'm so glad the devs did that because it helped lessen the tension during such a critical period. Plus, it's always nice seeing how adorable our student wives are. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Allied Operation Steel Continent event. I'm glad they brought it back because I fully enjoyed it, and I pray they bring it back in the future. Other than the Allied Operation, there was also the GDD Big Cleaning Operation event, which took place after the story and the Allied Operation ended. It's pretty much similar to the DU Shiratori City Restoration Project event after Volume F story, which works like a normal event with 12 quest stages, but no story ones, plus you can use event points to do lessons in the event exclusive area to upgrade it and gain rewards. It was honestly just a pretty chill event which was very much needed after shit went down in Volume EX. And it was nice to see how K fit into Millennium too, mainly becoming the GDD's unofficial producer and second mama. And the chibi comics are especially so cute. Look at K chiding Momoi for not cleaning and Midori for not doing her work properly. Her feeding Aris is so damn adorable too. It's literally the Gordon Ramsay meme. And her confused look when Yuzu was explaining the technical stuff to her is too damn cute as well. Someone needs to make it into an emote. All in all, I really enjoyed this event. I thought it was a nice, fun, wholesome wrap-up event, reminding us that our students are adorable, and seeing their smiles makes everything so much more worth it. And that's all for this video. Bit of a long one, I know, but hey, I thought the 5th anniversary was amazing and worthy of so much glaze, and I can't wait for it to come to global in a few months. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know what y'all thought of the 5th anniversary if y'all play BAJB too, and I'll see y'all in the next one.